I swear, y'all, we are stuck in the middle of the dumbest D-swinging contest. These rocket dudes are just like, no, my lightsaber's bigger. Like, this is seriously revenge of the nerds that we are all living through, but like the planet's just gonna die because of it. That's why you will never convince me that the bully at school, who these guys were afraid of, are any more dangerous than these freaking guys. Oh, look, there's Bose in his little... Because they're just dorks with too much money and too much power, and we're all gonna die because of them and their insecurity and how much they want to get back at the big guys, the jocks, and we are being punished. And this guy blew up another one yesterday. So I've already covered Mark, which, by the way, can I give y'all some advice really quick? As a journalist who can't really write much anymore because they don't pay anymore and Facebook is responsible for that, anytime you are on Facebook and you want to read an article, if you're on there, please don't be on there. I need you to not read it in the thing it opens up to. I need you to hit this, open an external browser, because Facebook literally is what just destroyed so many writers' lives because of the way they set anyway, Google it. Anyway, we can take money away from this little inchman who is now just gone full awful things. Now he's like, no, I want the bathrooms to not have tampons and all this crazy stuff. Every day I read up how much worse this man is. I always knew it, but fuck you, man. These space cowboy wannabes, they watch Young Guns too many times. They just want to be their own little rocket on the space. And they just keep basically making like the most phallic looking things. Like, is this y'all's revenge on us finding more pleasure from toys than you and your little bitty blah or your inability to eat the kitty cat? Like, this seems almost like trolling at this point. Either you like, this is Bezos crap. Either y'all have like the tiniest on earth, or you are somehow so pissed that something that is, battery charged or, USB, whatever, is more effective than y'all. Which if you actually were a real man, you would know that is your friend, not your competitor. But okay. Like, seriously, y'all, but I want to talk, I already did a breakdown. If you haven't seen it already, I'll try to remember to link it. Did a breakdown on how much AI is one of the number one threats to the planet. Like, it is lit. Like, we're on the fast track to hell right now because of AI. So please turn it off on all things. Google, how do I not use AI? And even not use AI in your Google searches. Like, please opt out of this thing that is literally not only just destroying all creative industries but it is literally destroying the planet. And now they're even using AI for child. Dude just got arrested for it. Computer generated. Like, which of course they are, because men are the ones that created white, rich, powerful, inchmells mostly are the ones that created so much of this crap. So of course they're just going to take that stuff and do the worst things possible with this technology that was created by psychos. I don't want any self-driving car anywhere near me, because I wouldn't be surprised if the car's like, oh, it's a woman, let's crash into something. We already know that the cars are racist because the programmers are racist. Like, this isn't rocket science. Anything that white men, especially rich ones, are going to create is going to probably be super problematic because they don't think about or care about, or maybe it's even intentional, the impact it's going to have on endangering all of us. These self-hating losers literally have a death wish, and we are stuck in their real life nightmare of their own creating. And they're so addicted to money. I swear to God, can you just start drinking alcohol maybe or something, because your addiction to money and greed and power, we're all going to die because of it. And I swear to God, if they keep it up, we're going to have a lot of Luigis out there, because that Brian guy was so much worse than people even realize. The dude illegally overcharged cancer patients for their meds by 1,000%. So how many people died because of that one man? That is literally... But okay, Luigi's a terrorist. Before I go into my big beef with Elon and what he's doing to the planet right now, just want to remind you of this thing. This was from a couple years ago. This guy went and challenged all these billionaires. He was like, please stop talking about transparency and all crap about how you're going to fight climate change, blah, blah, blah. Because we know they're not. And the real issues is tax avoidance. That's what this is all about. And the rich, especially the uber rich, the billionaires, not paying their fair share of taxes. And he said, if we really want to prevent broad social backlash, which is what Luigi was, and we're going to see more of, because we are being pushed. We are in an abusive relationship with these billionaires, right? Like literally what they're doing to us, what they're doing to the earth, what they're doing to everything is like, it is so classic. If anybody who's ever dated a narcissist or abuser, you see it. It's like, oh my God, they're just doing all this stuff. And then they're like, no, we're not. You're doing it. Are you using straws? I'm trying to warn them, the way that you prevent the people from going full like guillotine on y'all, stop talking about philanthropy and start talking about tax. I don't want to know what dumb charities you're contributing to. We're tired of GoFundMe's, but we have to save each other because of tax avoidance. And he reminded them, there's one billionaire asking, name me one country where a top marginal tax rate of 70% has actually worked. And he's like, I'm a historian. I'll answer that, brr. The United States. Well, it actually worked in the 50s. Eisenhower, who was a war vet, the top margin tax rate in the U.S. was 91% for billionaires like the dude who asked the question. And the top estate tax was more than 70%. And you know what changed all that? Reagan! It wasn't just him, but Reagan is literally one of the main reasons why Reagan and racism and patriarchy and sex, all of that stuff. But Reagan and racism, literally all the reason why nobody has anything in the United States now other than rich people, why they cut out all the social because of racism, but particularly anti-blackness. That's it. That's what that was about. I know I still owe y'all that video about how the health insurance, the reason why we don't have that is racism. That's the reason why we rely on tipping. That's the reason why literally everything goes back to that. I've made half the video, but honestly, I could literally talk for hours about how all roads lead to racism in the United States, but especially anti-blackness. So he's like, you can invite Bono, talk about philanthropy schemes, but come on, we got to talk about taxes. And guess what? The first thing Trump's going to do, the reason why all these billionaires got behind him, which is what I was trying to say before the election, is because he's going to do another tax cut. But let's talk about President Elon. What made me think of this? Because I saw some photos of this yesterday and videos of this, but this was a nice summary of what this is about. Everybody who turns off lights to save power and they leave a room, even though they're using LED lights, enjoy knowing that Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk each blew up 1.5 million pounds of methane this week just testing their rocket. So let's talk about that. Their space methane bonfire is what they're doing, right? I'm surprised Mark isn't in on it yet. Maybe he is. Between the rockets and the crypto mining and the AI data centers, we're going backwards. We're going back. I'm not saying this to make you hopeless. We have to name the problem before we can get focused and work to try to fix it. Because they are distracting us with literally everything. Oh, trans stuff. Oh, immigrants. Oh, it's all a distraction so that we don't focus on this crap. Yeah, crypto is also bad for the environment, by the way. Just learned that this week. But AI and these stupid rockets and like Elon's obsession to going to Mars because he just has a death wish. In this GQ article, they drag him. He even said, like, they're making fun of him here, but what I'm really trying to do is make Mars seem possible. Be some extinction event. I don't have some doomsday prophecy. The alternative is to become a space-going species. Let's just give up now. Let's just let them burn it all down so that the rich ones can live in Mars and we all just die. Because none of us are going to Mars. None of us are going out there. They don't want us there. We can't afford it anyway. We can't afford space tourism, which I hate space tourism. I've done videos on that before. Like, it's bad enough that we travel so much as it is. But space tourism, are you kidding me? We weren't meant to go everywhere. This dude who will not deal with his daddy issues and all of the crap he learned being, a part, like a mine, what is it, emerald mine? Like, I mean, this man's family is so messed up. And instead of getting help, or I don't know, just self-destructing like most of us do when we grow up around abusers, he's like, no, I'm going to punish all of you because I hate my dad. I can't admit that, so I will punish my children, every woman I've ever been with, and the entire planet. Because my daddy doesn't love me. But you know what the other thing about this dude is that him and all his little friends are a perfect example of men who are just like bad at stuff. Like, they're not that smart. Like, they may be like, maybe they're book smart. But I mean, Elon just kind of steals everything anyway. Just like his daddy and everybody else. These guys are not that bright and they just keep failing forward. But now every time one of these dumb ships fails, the whole environment pays a huge price. And the people in and around those environments really pay a price. And all of us pay a price because every time they launch one of these forkers, especially just for fun and just for testing and all that crap, it impacts the environment so much. And it's burning up the ozone and all this crap. And they're just like, no, my toy doesn't work down. And they're just in this big rocket swinging contest. Hours after Bezos nailed his first ever orbital mission, SpaceX sees the spotlight of his latest test with his dumb Starship, which disintegrated over the Atlantic. And look at this. It is literally, this is like, these guys are, just the rich version of dudes who drive like monster trucks. You know what I mean? Every time I see one of those big monster trucks, I'm like, you have a small penis, don't you? You have a small penis. This one was a taller, improved version of the biggest and most powerful launch vehicle ever built. Blast. Oh God. This is the 7th test of this dumb thing. And it's like, could you seriously be more on the nose with the design of these? And it's all the commercial space race, I'm shocked that Marky Mark is not in on this race yet. Guess he's too busy hating women. Now, y'all know how I mentioned in my video about Mark a couple days ago, how his motto was break things. It was something dumb. I'll look it up. Break things to make things or something. But his biggest, number one motto was amazing things can be built in one night. He's literally just I'm not I swear to God, how they approach everything probably says so much about how they approach the bedroom. He's literally probably a pump and dump kind of dude rather than the kitty cat Karen kind of dude, right? So it's all about fast, not quality, not enjoyment, not it's just mega fast. And look at his product, it sucks. I hate it over there. I hate it. And literally, like I said, the only reason why I'm ever on it is because all of my immigration stuff is on there and we haven't found a new home yet. So I'm not doing a deep dive on Elon. I can't, my heart can't handle that level of evil in my day today to read about. So this is just a little, wrap up. But look at this. The first 3 test flights in a dramatic explosion, resulting in the loss of vehicles. But SpaceX, it iterated on a design reflecting its fail fast, learn fast philosophy. Fail fast, learn fast. Literally, hey, look, I am trying to, unlearn the tenets of white supremacy. And one of them is perfectionism. There's a bunch of them. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Google it because it literally is life-changing work to deconstruct these things. But I'm not all about perfectionism. I think failing is great. As an artist, as a writer, a storyteller, literally, it's not supposed to be perfect. And I learned through failing. But fail fast. Learn fast. You know what? I don't want to fail fast. I think sometimes you should take your time and think about things. Because the consequences of not doing that is not only self-sabotage, but it harms other people. But you know what? This goes right back to how, when you think about abusers and just men in general under patriarchy, they just learn all their hard lessons through traumatizing women and children, but especially women. Oh, I learned my lesson. Every single Me Too apology is I learned my lesson. Every man who goes on to marry someone else is all the women before him that he traumatized because he wouldn't work on himself, he learned his lesson to take into the new relationship. All of their lessons come at our expense, right? They're just collateral damage or whatever. They don't care because they're the main character of their story. And guess what? Now he wants to fail faster. He's aiming to drastically ramp up the frequency of the test. Despite all of the fact he's failing so many of them and they cause so much harm to the environment each time. He's more, faster, fail, faster. Could someone just put him in one of these rockets? Can he just get in the rocket? So when he fails, he suffers the consequences too. Then he's asking for permission from the FAA to carry out more 25 failures in 2025 as opposed to 4 last year. Great. Y'all, that's 6 times as many. And, there's people who are like, I don't know, this seems kind of dangerous. These are sensitive areas. He doesn't care. And it's so funny because just like a narcissistic, selfish little brat, it's all fun and games. It's entertaining. I'm glad you had a good laugh. Can you just watch a comedy special instead, bro? Success is uncertain, but entertainment is guaranteed. And all of this is about going to Mars. I don't want to be on a planet with any of those dudes. I wish they would just go to Mars and stay up there and leave us alone. But like I've said, like women who are like, if the apocalypse comes or like zombies come, I'm gonna drink poison. I don't want to be. We already know what happens to women during war. Like, y'all just graping all of us, right? Why would I go to a planet with you psychos? Not like I'll be invited. But any woman who goes, hey, y'all, remember they left that? They launched those 2 people into space and then we're like, oops, sorry, the 8-day trip is now going to be like 9 months. I forget what it was, but I covered it earlier. They're like people, they're stuck in space. Can you imagine being stuck with one man in space? Any man in space? Being the only woman? Yeah, I know she ended up being on on the space station later, but still, despite all these setbacks, this dude won't give up. He just won't give up. I just wish, that whole like never give up. You're supposed to give up sometimes. It's good. Walk away. Despite the setbacks, SpaceX continued to streak of successful Falcon. I don't even know the difference between these spaceships. I don't care. I'm not going to look into it. They all suck. The Falcon 9 launch have completed 436 missions. Like, what? No, they're going up there way more than we realize. And every time they get in that stupid rocket, they are polluting our planet at insane rates. And it's not like, not only is it harmful, it's annoying. These little, explosion yesterday, they're diverting flights because of it. And the way that this man, this is like worse than Gwyneth Paltrow's conscious uncoupling instead of just saying divorce. The way that these men talk about their harm. The same way the media talks about men who unalive women. They're like, she just died. I don't know why. And then buried in the article, it's like, well, she had a restraining order against her and he cut her head off. They're just like, woman dies with 2 children. Like, they just leave out the most important part. And instead of saying, I failed, I blew it up, he's like, a rapid unsent schedule, that's a sunblast. And it was entertaining. The company's 7th test flight in their mission to Mars ended in flames and less than 10 minutes in. I swear to God, these men want daddy's approval. Trump too. They all want daddy's approval so bad. Instead of being like, I messed up, he's like, Starship experienced a rapid unscheduled disassembly during its ascent burn. What is that? Teams will continue to review data, blah, blah, blah. With a test like this, success comes from what we learn. Every time I beat a woman, I learn, oopsies, she can no longer provide free labor for me as well if she's beat up and has broken arms. That's what that sounds like. If I unalive my wife, nobody's gonna do my favor, so I guess I find another one, but I learned my lesson. Torture them, but don't kill them. The way these men treat the environment is exactly how they would treat women in their life. This is all colonizer mindset. And that's why I remember y'all have talked a lot about how so many men in the climbing and outdoors, surfing, like all those communities that just love Mother Nature. It is all like grape culture because they want, they want to put a flag in it. They want to piss on another mountain, right? I'm the first. I conquered her. This wild, wild woman, Mother Nature, who's also my mommy and I rely on and I up the tit off her. I resent her, want to conquer her, and I want to unalive her because I hate her, but, kind of need her, but fork her. Like, I swear to God, these men could just, if they would just deal with their misogyny and all of these systems of, like, entitlement that makes them think everything is theirs, and they literally don't care about how much they're harming everything that they rely on and everyone they rely on. One day, we got the guillotine's coming out one day. Hopefully we'll all be gone by the time somebody Luigi him. I'm just saying. I'm not threatening. I'm just saying you can only push people so far. Like, I really can't tell you how much I've started to really understand that even my relationship to nature is still a little off. I've been working on it for a while. I love nature. I lived in it. I worked in it. I helped people survive in nature. But one of the things, especially among men, white men, because it's mostly white men who work in that industry for many reasons. One is lack of access, but also because there's a lot of racism in that industry. And lots of sexism too, and all of the isms, ableism, homophobia. I'm sure there's transphobia. I've never had an instance of it in any of my work, but just for lack of opportunity, I'm sure, not because it's not there. And the way that society and the way that especially white men, rich ones especially, the way they view Earth and the planet is so much how they view women. And so, Elon's like, you know what? Today's flight will help us improve, the tomorrow's dumb toy shaped like a... Meanwhile, it's just like, can you imagine just looking up and all this crap's going on? Because he's out there playing with this little toy. Meanwhile, there's pilots out there actually flying people around. They've been issuing warnings about dangerous stuff falling, debris. And then, of course, whatever Elon does in the U.S. or any of these dudes, Jeff, the cowboy, so he used the SpaceX uses the reentry point is in this southern Indian Ocean. Great. So not only are they ruining the environment all around us and the wildlife, the birds, like the people around that area, then they gotta go, terrorize the global south, who has less access to resources and, already has so much damage from colonization. And white people just going around stealing stuff and doing violence everywhere. Like, God, I swear to God, it feels like being forced to live in the home of an abusive dad. And yet, there's a bunch of them. There's a few dads. You got dad and stepdad and all his little friends. And all of us are stuck in the house. And we want the house. We like the house. We want to feel safe. We want to appreciate the house. But they're just like, let's burn it down. We can build another house out there because we're great leaders. I'm telling y'all, from your personal experience with men and them being terrible leaders and being like, let's go over here, even though I don't know anything about it. We could die just going on that trail to who knows where. Because I'm a leader and I got good judgment. Don't follow these men in your personal life and don't follow them in anywhere, but we're all being forced to follow them. And one day, I'm telling you, they're pushing us to the brink of there's only so many of them. Billions of people they are threatening the lives of. And there's 4 of them in the U.S. that I just want to... There's not that many of them. We're being forced to live in their twisted little fantasy head. Oh my God, look at him. So I'm just going to go try to summarize really quickly how damaging these things. The BBC did an article talking about the areas that these things launch themselves and how much damage these rockets do just to the surrounding area. Like, for instance, in Florida, where they were launching so many of these. I think they launch a lot of them out of Texas now. All these incels are moving to Texas. They all want to be Joe Rogan, I swear. But, they will launch these things very close to, national wildlife refuge. And they're literally just poisoning these areas. And this is nothing new. They've been doing this for a while. They the extensive environmental damage when these things explode. So they cause damage just by going up in general because of the so much emissions from it. But when they explode, they do so much more damage. Again, I'm not going to go over all of them. This is just the first things that came up when I did a simple search. But my real problem is the air pollution, because they actually don't know how much these things are polluted. They're kind of guessing now. But they're saying, or one source said, a typical long-haul plane flight creates between 1 to 3 tons. What is this, British? What is this? Am I saying this word wrong? Whatever. I'm not a science person. Per passenger. Rocket launches, on the other hand, generate between 50 to 70 per passenger. Sorry, 50 to 75. Now, obviously, there's way less rocket launches, but if it was up to these psychos, they'd be doing the space tourism all the time. They want more and more rockets. It's now it's for satellites and research and going to Mars, but they literally, space tourism is a thing. They want to charge people all the, like this is literally the Titan submersive all over again. It's always about something else, I've done long deep dives on that dude. That literally wasn't even about going to see the Titanic. He was trying to get oil contracts. That's what it was all about, was so that he could get contracts from the government and oil, like to go get oil. It's always about exploiting the earth. That's what it's about. It's not about tourism. I don't care how much any of those people wanted to see that dumb boat. He was using those people to get contracts for oil. So, okay, here's some numbers. There's and I'm sure it's way more now, but in 2020, there's only 114 attempted orbital launches, compared to over 100,000 airplane flights per day. Is that true? Like, is that how many flights there are a day? Either way, there's no telling how the space tourism industry, how big it's going to get. And when you have a guy who's just like, want more all the time because I want to beat that man, and these two dudes trying to duke it out for being like the top space tourism dude, there's no telling what they're going to do. They sent the the Star Trek dude, like they're trying to rope celebrities into this stuff. Be like, hey, it's a cool thing to do. If I got asked to go on one of those things, as curious as I am, I would say no. Because the carbon footprint of one rocket is bonkers. So all these launches trap a bunch of emissions. Like, I'm not a scientist, y'all, so like go to someone else for this. But I'm just saying it's the emission. All these emissions, every time they launch, contribute to the ozone depletion through chemical reactions in the Earth's stratosphere. This naturally poses a risk to humanity, as ozones protect the Earth from harmful UV radiation. But they still don't know how much it's going to harm. They don't know yet how much this stuff harms. But it's always harms more than they predict. I've seen some stuff. This one site says that current estimates put a Falcon Heavy launch at about 79,000 metric tons of CO2. And the other dumb Starship at a little bit less. Even the most common launch, it still emits 28,000. I don't even know what these numbers mean, but I know that when I see the numbers behind how much, billionaires and their private jets, and I'm talking about Taylor Swift too, I'm talking about all of them that use it, the Kardashians, everything, and I don't care if she's been stalked, whatever. Please don't. All these celebrities who are using private jets to go visit their boyfriend all the time, or just go do whatever, or have their dumb yachts. Leo is all about eco, la la la, and then he goes, oh, did I show you that? He is hanging out on yacht with Bezos. Any respect that I ever had for Leo, the way he is such a hypocrite. Oh, Mother Earth, la 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 la. Oh, trajectory to creepy old man is already troubling enough. But now this guy's been lecturing us about climate change, is hanging out with Bezos, and he's always on his yacht and doing all that stuff. I don't care if he drives a little electric car around LA. He's on that yacht lecturing Big Daddy about how he's destroying the planet. What are you doing? You just looking at your phone? Why are you there? Also, Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom are there too. Whatever. Anyway, God, I'm so annoyed. If you want to read, something kind of scary, the New York Times did things. New space race is causing new pollution problems. Earth's stratosphere has never seen the amounts of emissions and waste from rockets and satellites as they are now. Musk and government agencies have locked thousands of satellites into low Earth orbit, and it's only beginning. Satellites could eventually total 1 million. So there's thousands out there right now. They want 1 million up there, requiring even greater number of space launches. That's going to create more emissions. So I'm telling you, they want to create more AI and databases for the AI, even though we don't want AI. And they keep doing all this crap because they want to go to Mars. I mean, I'm not saying we don't need satellites and that all space stuff is bad, but these dudes, it's all for selfish reasons. And of course, it doesn't comment on the impact of the pollution. It's a coward. Experts say they do not, oops, I scared Moses. It's okay. Experts say they do not want to limit the booming space economy. Why? Limit it! But they fear that the steady march of science will move slower than the new space race, meaning that we may not understand the consequences of all this pollution of the rockets until it's too late. So how is this a booming space economy? Whose economy is this about? Who does this benefit? It's not benefiting us. The tourism part, not the let's burn the planet, move to Mars, because Elon is uncomfortable in his own skin. He hates his inner world, so he hates his outer world, and now we're all forced to live in his head and this, you know what I mean? Sorry you hate yourself, bro. But I don't hate myself anymore. Now we're all gonna die because these men won't deal with their issues about dad. I'm not saying that we gotta cancel Lou or whatever. Like, whatever. None of these dudes get canceled anyway. They're gonna do what they're gonna do. But you know what? I just really wish that we would just stop, like, believing. Oh, look who's back. I have to help him up. There you go, Mose. I'm just saying that, you know what? Men are usually not doing what they say they're doing. They're usually at the end of the day, or they're going to date who they want to date. They're going to spend their money on who they want to spend it on and the way they want to spend it on. They're going to do whatever they want to do. Meanwhile, like, you'll see this, like, 100-year-old woman still, like, raising money for people because women have... Not saying all women are amazing, but I'm saying we have been taught to just give and give and give and give until we're exhausted and just die. If we could, we'd be giving from the grave. And the way that men are socialized, especially white men, especially rich white men under patriarchy, is just do whatever you want. Doesn't matter who pays the price. Doesn't matter what the consequences are. You know, drink as much as you want, play as many games, waste all the family's money, kill the planet because you just need your little toys, you know? Because you gotta swing your big old dick around and show everybody who the boss in town is when, God, I wish y'all would just be self-destructive instead of world-destructive. Although self-destructive is hard to deal with too, but at least you wouldn't take all of us down with you. So anyway, all the more reminder to invest in your community, build your community, stop following men unless they have a very good track record of putting actions behind their words. And try to withhold money from these dudes and all dudes who are not investing back in you as much as possible. Because I do believe we're going to hit a breaking point at a certain point. And they underestimate how much they're pushing it. You got people, you know, with TikTok being possibly banned tomorrow or whatever, the day after tomorrow, you got people who are like literally proud to be on Red Note, being like, wow, I was lied to. Yeah. Stop believing men, stop blindly trusting them, and stop thinking that they really have our interests at all in mind, because they literally can't even do that within their own family. When they have children, they still spend most of their money on their dumb toys or their self-destructive hobbies. So, of course, they're doing it on a larger level. So, invest your money and your time, your watch hours into people like me, if you like it, and my mutuals. Follow my Patreon if you haven't already. You don't have to join the paid tier to at least keep up with me in case they ban all the apps at some point. And I've got some really cool lives coming up that I'm announcing any day. Watch parties, travel content, personal stories, because I don't like sharing as much anymore because the internet's scary. And let me know if you heard the comment song. Et voila. Rocket Man, you're a loser. You wanna rocket, cause you're a loser billionaire. Comment song, Rocket Man. If you're new here, I sing one every day. This random. Rocket Man, king baby, loser, Rocket Man. You are all evil, Rocket Man. You and your stupid toys are unaliving the planet. And now these clowns are in charge. Rocket Man, comment song, Rocket Cowboy Man. You suck so much. You just want your own vibrator, but you're evil life and your cowboy. Rocket Man, comment song. Tap, tap, tap. You comment now, cause these fuckers are killing the earth. Yeah, you too, Branson and this guy, I don't even know, but he's a big old loser, and I talked about him before. You all just want to go ride a bull, but you probably don't even know how to do that. Yeah, I rode a bull. And here comes the last part of my comment song. Here you go. Oh, handmade bull by my friends. Et voila! And this is the kind of stuff I share on my Patreon. You're too good. Oh my God.
Order! Order!